to AMP Rapid Fire. Whether the office or sports, talent might open the door. The mindset determines how long you stay in the room. This is Assassin Mental Performance, where we build high-level performers who become world-class human beings. 10 questions, real mindset, under pressure. I'm Carl Sasson. Today's guest is Casey Terreri. Casey, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Sass. Good to be with you.
Opening question. Eventually, the role you play comes to an end, but the mindset you build stays with you forever. What does that mean to you?
Well, I look at it as, particularly in my story, my hockey journey, I see it as having 3 different chapters: player, referee, and now manager. And I think a lot of the lessons you learn from the first carry to the second, and then you build more in the second, carry on to the next chapter. So to me, it's about having a foundation and using it to transfer into your next chapter and become just a stronger individual leader, mental performer in that way.
Excellent. What led you to where you are today? You have a great background. You and I know each other. I've been fortunate enough to be on the ice with you. Tons of respect for you. Why don't you tell me what got you to where you are today?
I will give you the quick version, I guess, right? You go from
Sure.
player, growing up in New England, right? Very strong hockey culture up here. And I had an uncle who played in the National League when I was growing up. So I had a very strong hockey influence. And that kind of seemed like it pigeonholed me down the path of playing hockey, although baseball and golf might be the true passions. But so we stuck with hockey and probably became the most talented at that one. Played high school hockey growing up, went to junior, was an okay player. I got opportunity to play Division III up in Massachusetts. Really enjoyed my time up there. And then it seemed like once that was done, I still had the itch and the passion, and I didn't want to leave the game. So what's the next best way to stay on the ice? And I think that was what led me to meeting you, man, is the old officiating route. And you know what? Like, I just tried to take the same mentality from playing to refereeing. I always started with the approach of I want to be a referee that I would have liked when I was a player. So I took those kind of thought processes and mentality and applied that to my refereeing career, and it helped me climb the ladder pretty quick through local junior stuff to Division III college, and I eventually got into Hockey East and Atlantic hockey pretty quick. So that was kind of like a good carrot where you know you're getting your reward for your hard work, not the instant gratification because you're putting in the time and the miles and the hours, but it's nice to see when your hard work's being rewarded. So that took me to college hockey, and then I got an opportunity to go to the Combine, and the rest is history. I think I performed well enough to prove that I was ready for the professional level and took off from there. Enjoyed 6 years in the ECHL and the American League, which led me down to Austin, Texas. A couple of good games with the Assassin, and and now I'm fortunate enough to be in this role. And I guess I had some people that thought highly enough of me to recommend me for this, and it's been a treat because I think I say this now, being in my role now, I wish I had watched every game every night of all the leagues because I'm watching so much hockey now, and it's made me a better official, but I'm not on the ice anymore. So it's just using that knowledge that I have now to help give back to the next generation.
For those of you who don't know, what is your official role with the EC?
So I'm the manager of officiating operations, which is, I guess technically I'm the boss, although I work with 2 really amazing individuals in Tim Nowak and Tim Mayer, who have a lot more credentials than I do. And we work really well as a team, and I lean a lot on them. But ultimately, the buck stops with me. So I wear a lot of hats, but I also know how to use the talent around me because one person can't do it all.
Perfect. Great sign of leadership. And don't sell yourself short. You were a tremendous official and a lot of fun working with you, and you definitely carried your weight, and you were a quality guy. All right, let's get a couple tough mindset questions. Tell me, Casey, what part of you never changes, no matter the situation?
I want to just say my character, just being a person that's relatable, approachable. I think that always stuck with me throughout being a captain of the team because I could relate to different personalities, being a leader in the referee room for the same reasons. And now even more so, now that I have 180 guys that work underneath me, being able to approach everyone differently because they all are their own individual, and everyone, needs to be coached and taught different ways.
Excellent. That's what I found. We don't receive immediate feedback much when we do well. My confidence isn't based on outside validation. It's based from self-reflection. So where do you feel real confidence comes from?
I think confidence for me comes from experience. You put in the time, you put in the hours. If you're giving your all to every part of your job, you're going to gain positive experience. And from that positive experience, I think comes confidence. For me, I always relied on when I was in college, I looked back on my junior days and what did I do well that got me to here? And then when I got to pro, I look back on my college days. What did I do really well there that got me here? And that's where I think you fall back on those foundational strategies or attributes. And I think that's where your confidence comes from.
So true. This is an interesting one. What does leadership look like when things go wrong?
Well, I mean, we've been in battles together, I think more than we wanted to, but I think knowing your mentality when you approach a situation like that, do you need to flip a switch and kind of be more aggressive? Do you need to see an instance where maybe I just need to give my 2 cents and kind of let the rest play out? Recognizing the level of intensity of a situation, I think dictates how you want to manage that situation.
Well, that's a great point.
Yeah, you know what? Like we try to be the water, not the gas on the fire, but sometimes the game dictates that you need to be the gas, and recognizing that, because it's not often that it happens, it's pretty rare, but being able to recognize those situations separates the great officials from the good officials.
What's one thing you focus on when everything else around you feels like it's out of control?
I guess your North Star is just, as an official, I always was the standard. I'd make a really strong effort in knowing the standard and staying on top of it, watching video, watching games, watching my own games, making mental notes of, oh, I might have wanted to call that, and making a mental note of it, going back to the hotel, watching it, and knowing, okay, I did mess up there, right? It's a tough job being a referee because, like you said, thankless, but
No.
I think having good self-awareness helps you become a better official and person.
Oh, that's great. That kind of leads me into a question I wasn't planning on asking, but how do you reset after you've viewed that tape and you know for a fact you missed that one? How long does that stick with you? What's the process to get over that error?
Well, I think the first question that you have to ask yourself is, why did you miss it, right? Is it a sightline thing? Is it positioning? Was it maybe you were mentally checked out for that period of the game? To me, the why is always was my first question. And then the second part of it is, right, now you have a problem. How do we solve it? Finding the solution. Should I have been a little bit higher in the zone there? Should I have gotten to the play and been closer? Should I have backed off and had a better sight line, a more broad view? To me, now in this role, like you're just a problem solver. You get problems thrown at you every day, whether it's on the ice stuff, off the ice stuff, and finding that solution is ultimately what's going to get you to your goal, right? And so for being on the ice, missing that call, why'd I miss it? That's always the number one. Not, man, I should have missed it, I'll get it the next time. Dissect it, break it down, find out why. That's my biggest thing. That's how I approached it myself, and that's what I tell our guys.
That's great advice. For me, I know what tested my mindset the greatest was when I gave up alcohol over 5 years ago. What would you say tested your mindset?
I think it's probably pretty similar to some officials that are at a high level. Is your ultimate goal is the NHL, right? That's what we all strive to do. And I think, we live in a crazy world and a wild business where sometimes it's more about time and place, right time. And that's kind of what sets people apart. Other times it is performance. And I think knowing, like I said, circling back to self-awareness, knowing where you fit in your respective work environment is a good thing to know, because I think it'll help defeat having that self-doubt. So I would say the toughest thing I ever went through was probably being on that path to trend up, where you're getting those NHL looks, and then you kind of see, hey, they're not at as many games as they were last season. Now this season they're at even fewer, So getting over that mentality, but also flip the coin now, right? I became a leader of the American Hockey League. I was one of those full-time officials where at training camp, everyone was, hanging out in my room. I wanted to bring all the guys together. I think biggest setback was probably knowing that dream might have died, but at the same time, you reignite a new dream of, the Tim Mayers and Terry Koharskis had just retired, and there weren't really that many older officials. So I kind of took it upon myself, other guys as well, not just me, to kind of fill that vacuum, because as well as I do, the ECHL needs guys like that. The American Hockey League needs guys like that. And being in that role was something that I really cherished. So I would say a setback brought me to a positive.
Absolutely. And I know firsthand that you exhibited the signs of an excellent leader. So here's a good one for you. What's the strangest pregame routine you've seen someone rely on before a big game?
There's a couple. I mean, like I've seen guys have the Monster, the Red Bull, the C4, where and it's not just one, it's all three, right? So you got guys that get pretty amped up, and then you see weird pregame routines with warm ups, and it's like, buddy, where did you learn that stretch? I've never seen anybody do that before, right? So everyone's pregame routine's different, but I actually always kind of respected, because I was one of those guys. I had to do the same continuous warm up, same mental repetitions in my head before the game. But I really respected the guys that could just sit there and have a coffee, go out, do the game, and do it as well as I could, because didn't have that type of talent. So you see the whole gambit of it. But I would say the energy drink guys were always pretty good, because you could tell as soon as it kicked in.
You just can't hold them down.
Yep.
So here's a good one. Are excuses ever valid?
I think one of the greatest lessons you ever taught me was there's no such thing as trying. You either do or you don't do. So there's not much room for excuses. It's either you get the job done or you don't.
Good point. Who is your toughest critic?
I think if you're not your own toughest critic, you're doing yourself a disservice. Like we talk about, self-awareness and knowing where you're at, I think is the biggest tool you can have for yourself. In our business, you'll get your evaluations from your ODCs, and even you ask other officials, senior guys, hey, how did I do? But, are they always going to tell you the truth? Maybe not, because they're just trying to go out and have a beer after the game. But I think that's where going through and watching your own games and watching other games, right? We tell our guys, take something from the vets, learn something from every vet. You can pull something from their game, right?
It's a great one. This one's probably more pertinent to your position now as you're going along your journey. Do leaders avoid hard conversations too often?
I think there's a delicate dance you have to play when you have hard conversations. It's funny, I just had a call with a mentor of mine that I really respect, and we were talking about cutting players, right? Because he's a GM and he has to cut players, and coming up in a few weeks, I'm going to have to cut officials for the playoffs. And we just talked about the mindset of what it's like to be on my end of the call and what it's like to be on the receiving end that you and I have both been on. For me, it's the first time being on this side of the call, and I want to show the guys respect and treat everyone the right way, even when they're moving on or you're sending them home for the summer.
Those are difficult conversations. So finish the sentence. Someone has a killer mindset when they
don't make excuses.
So final question. If a young athlete was listening today and is struggling with confidence, pressure, or mistakes, what advice would you give them?
Pressure is a privilege. Confidence comes from your experience. Mistakes are going to happen. It's all about how you recover from each one.
That's a great answer. Really appreciate your time, Case. Just you have developed into not only a great official, you're turning it into the executive level as well. I loved your answers. Spot on. At Assassin Mental Performance, it's discipline today, dominate tomorrow. If this conversation helped you, share it with an athlete who needs to hear it, and follow Assassin Mental Performance for more. Hammer the subscribe button, like, follow, till we chat again. Thank you.